Hey friends, welcome back to new lesson. In this video, we'll learn about adrenergic system and its agonist. So the prime function of adrenergic system is to help us to adjust in the stress and to prepare the body for fight and flight reactions. So in what way does this system help us? As organs need more blood during stress, so when exposed to stress, the heart rate increases and stroke volume, cardiac output are all increased, and the blood is shifted from skin, gut, kidney to heart, muscle, brain, and lungs. So, to activate this system, we need a neurotransmitter. So, the important major neurotransmitters in the sympathetic system is noradrenaline. It also called norepinephrine, which is released from the kidney in the medulla. So, the main metabolite of noradrenaline is vanillyl mandelic acid. It is excreted in the urine. Now, let's see how it is synthesized and transmitted. It is synthesized from the amino acid tyrosine. Tyrosine is transported into the adrenergic neuron by active transport, where it is converted into dopa and then dopamine. Dopamine enters into a storage vesicles and there converts into noradrenaline. During the nerve stimulation, noradrenaline releases into the synaptic cleft and binds to the receptors on the affected cell. Termination of this NA action involves three processes. First is a neuronal reuptake. That is, most of the released noradrenaline is taken back into the adrenergic neuron and there it is inactivated by MAO, that is monoamine oxidase. And next is the small amount is diffuses into the circulation and gets inactivated in the liver by COMT. It is called catechol O methyl transferase. And the another process involved is extraneural uptake. Moving on to receptors, there are two types, alpha receptor and the beta receptors. Alpha has classified into alpha 1 and alpha 2 and beta has three types, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. Now let's see the type of receptor and this location and what is the response when these receptors are activated. First, alpha 1 receptor are present in the blood vessels. When alpha 1 receptors are stimulated, it causes constriction of blood vessels, and in the heart it causes stimulatory actions, and in the eye it causes iris contraction so that decrease in the aqueous secretion happens, and this is also present in the bladder. Bladder contraction takes place and the uterus also contracted. And next is the alpha 2 receptors are present in the blood vessels, pancreatic beta cells and nerve terminals. The response is the blood vessels are constricted and the pancreatic beta cells they cause decrease in the insulin secretion. And beta 1 are present in the heart and kidney. On heart they have a stimulatory action and the kidney they cause release of renin. Beta 2 receptors are present in the blood vessels, lungs, intestine, detrusor and uterus. It causes vasodilation and in lungs bronchodilation, uterus, intestine and detrusor. In all these organs there is a relaxation. And beta 3 are present in the adipose tissue, they cause lipolysis. So now we'll see how to remember the actions of adrenergic agonist. When adrenergic agonists bind to the receptors, what are the actions takes place? So generally remember that sympathetic system is activated during stress. Yes, for example, an angry man is attacking someone or you are being attacked by someone. Now, what could be the response? First, on the brain is activated. It has a stimulatory effect. That is, brain is alert. And on the eyes, it takes place mydriasis. The pupil is dilated and it takes place mydriasis. And what about the skeletal muscle? Increase the muscle tone. And in the heart rate increases so that the contracting increases and then ultimately increase in the cardiac output. The next action is on the face. There will be a flushing of face and bronchodilation takes place, and also in the liver there is a glycogenolysis. The glycogen in the liver is converted into glucose, and next in the fat adipose tissue it causes lipolysis. Fat is converted into free fatty acids. Let's see the adrenergic drugs classification. They are classified into three types based on structure: catecholamines and non-catecholamines. Catecholamines are in its structures there is a catechol nucleus, while non-catecholamines they don't have a catechol nucleus. And next, based on the mechanism of action, there are classified into direct acting, indirect acting, and mixed acting. Direct acting, these are the drugs directly acts on the receptors. And indirect acting are they act by releasing the noradrenaline. And mixed acting, they act both directly acting and also indirectly. Based on therapeutic use, they are classified into pressure agents, that means which increases the BP, which include noradrenaline, ephedrine, dopamine, phenylephrine, methoxamine, methemphetamine, and bronchodilators. These are the drugs which dilates the bronchi. They include isoprenaline, salbutamol, terbutaline, salmeterol, formoterol, bambuterol, all alls, and CNS stimulants. They alert the CNS system. They include amphetamine, dexamphetamine, methamphetamine, methylphenidate, and uterine relaxants. These are the drugs relaxes the uterine muscle. So they include ritodrine, isoxaprine, salbutamol, terbutaline, and cardiac stimulants. These are the drugs which stimulate the cardiac system. That means they have positive inotropic effect, positive chromotropic effect, and all, which include adrenaline, isoprenaline, dopamine, and nasal decongestants. They relieve the nasal congestion by vasoconstriction. These are the drugs xylometazoline, oxymetazoline, nefozolin, phenylephrine, pseudoephedrine. And other classification is anorectics like amphetamine, fenfluramine, dexfenfluramine, sibutramine. These are used as anorectics. Let's see about the direct acting drugs. First is adrenaline, or also called epinephrine. It is non-selective, that means it acts on all the receptors alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, and beta 3. So the pharmacological actions on heart is by beta 1 receptor. The actions are it increases the heart rate. Adrenaline has positive inotropic effect, that means it increases contractility, and has positive dromotropic effect, that means it increases the conduction velocity and increase the cardiac output ultimately. And there is a tendency to cause cardiac arrhythmias, that means irregular heartbeat or abnormal rhythm. And at high doses it may also raise the blood pressure. Moving on to blood vessels, the actions are blood vessels of skin, mucous membrane, and renal, mesenteric, pulmonary are constricted. These are due to alpha 1 receptors. Mesenteric vessels are the major artery of abdomen. They arise from the abdominal aorta and supplies arterial blood to organs of gut and intestine. And blood vessels of skeletal muscle and coronary vessels are dilated because of they are beta 2 receptor mediated. As we have seen earlier, beta 2 receptor has a inhibitory action, so they dilates the blood vessels, and while the alpha 1 receptors constrict the blood vessels. Next, on the respiratory system, it relaxes the bronchial smooth muscles, so called bronchodilation, and it also reduces the secretion and relieves the mucosal congestion by vasoconstrictor effect, so act as a decongestant. In the gastrointestinal tract, it relaxes the smooth muscle of gut, and it reduces the intestinal tone and peristaltic movement, so that the motility of the chyme is reduced. This is done by the action of alpha 2 and the beta 2, and sphincters are constricted. Next, actions on the bladder. It relaxes the detrusor muscle, that is by beta 2 receptor, and contracts the sphincter. Due to this, there is a difficulty in the urination. As the sphincter is closed, so the micturition is difficult. Next, on the CNS, central nervous system, it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier, so it has poor penetration. So CNS effects are very less. But if it is given in the high dose, It may cause headache, restlessness, tremors, and all. It also causes the bradycardia and fall in BP. This is due to the activation of alpha 2 in the brainstem. And they also have some metabolic effects like hyperglycemia, increase in the blood glucose level. This is by stimulating the hepatic glycogenolysis by beta 2 receptors. Liver glycogen is converted into glucose. And there is a reduction in the insulin secretion because of alpha 2 receptors and lipolysis by beta 3 receptors. Because of this, there is a rise in the plasma free fatty acids. Could be a transient hyperkalemia followed by hypokalemia. This is due to initial release of K plus from the liver and later uptake of K plus by muscle and liver. And next action on the eye is mydriasis, that is dilation of pupil due to constriction of radial muscles of the iris by alpha 1 receptors. And ciliary vessels constriction takes place. Due to this, intraocular tension falls due to reduction in the aqueous formation and the facilitation of outflow. Moving on to pharmacokinetics, how adrenaline is acting. Adrenaline is not suitable for oral administration because it is inactivated in GI mucosa and the liver. It undergoes first pass metabolism. In cardiac arrest, it is given intravenously, and in anaphylactic shock, it is given intramuscularly. It is metabolized by COMT and MAO as we have discussed earlier. The contraindications are in the hypertension patients, adrenaline should not be given, and also in the angina, cardiac arrhythmias. In these situations, adrenaline should not be given. Next, adrenaline therapeutic uses. The use of adrenaline can be remembered with the code ABCDE. First, A for anaphylactic shock. Anaphylactic shock or anaphylaxis means the same, that refers to severe allergic reaction. So here it causes immune system to release a number of chemicals that cause you to go into shock, and BP drops suddenly and airways becomes narrow, blocking breath occurs. So in this condition, adrenaline is given. And next, use in the bronchial asthma. It can be given by nebulization, that is through inhalation. Its use has declined because of its dangerous cardiac stimulant effect. The next use is in the cardiac resuscitation. It is the emergency procedure that combining chest compression to restore blood circulation and breathing in a person who is in cardiac arrest. So adrenaline is given during this cardiac resuscitation. And next action is it prolongs the duration of local anesthesia, a deferred duration of local anesthesia. With lignocaine, adrenaline is given. Adrenaline, by its vasoconstriction effect, delays the absorption of local anesthesia and prolongs the duration of local anesthesia. And next, use E for it controls epistaxis. It controls bleeding during tooth extraction and during surgical procedures in the nose, throat because of its vasoconstriction effect. Next drug is noradrenaline. It is the alpha and beta agonist. It acts on alpha 1, alpha 2 and beta 1 but not beta 2. It causes vasoconstriction and so causes increase in the BP. It is a potent cardiac stimulant. Next drug is isoprenaline. It is a beta agonist, acts on beta 1 and beta 2. It is a powerful cardiac stimulant. Beta 1 receptor is only the heart receptor, and it has positive inotropic effect, chronotropic and dromotropic effects. And in the renal, mesenteric and skeletal muscle, blood vessels are dilated because of beta 2 action. And it relaxes the bronchial and gastrointestinal smooth muscles, and it also has high first pass metabolism. The side effects include tachycardia, increase in the heart rate, cardiac arrhythmias, that is abnormal heart rate. This is about the isoprenaline. Moving on to dobutamine, it is a beta 1 agonist. Dobutamine is a potent inotropic agent. Inotropic agent in the sense which increases the contraction of heart, and this increases the force of cardiac contraction and output without changing the heart rate and the BP. And they are used in the inotropic agent in the cardiac surgery and in the chronic heart failure. Next, moving on to selective beta 2 stimulants. These are the drugs which only stimulate beta 2 receptors, and the advantages of these selective drugs is they don't cause side effects. The main adverse effect of non-selective beta agonists like adrenaline, isoprenaline are on heart they cause tachycardia, arrhythmias, and etc. So the beta 2 agonists are main drug used in the bronchial asthma. So the drugs include salbutamol, terbutaline, salmeterol, formoterol. Let's see the pharmacological actions. Actions on the bronchi, it causes bronchodilation, and the uterus, it causes relaxation of uterus. In the skeletal muscle, it causes contraction of skeletal muscle, so cause tremors. And it promotes the uptake of potassium ions into the cell. And in the liver, it causes glycogenolysis. Glycogen is converted into glucose. So the uses could be, it is used in the bronchial asthma. Salbutamol and formoterol are used for bronchial asthma. Salbutamol and terbutaline are used to delay the premature labor. They cause relaxation of uterus and avoid the constriction of uterus. And hyperkalemia. These drugs promote the uptake of potassium ions into cell so that the plasma potassium levels will be reduced, so that it is used in the hyperkalemia. Next, selective alpha-1 agonists include phenylephrine, methoxamine, mifentermine. Phenylephrine and methoxamine are directly acting alpha-1 agonists, while mifentermine it acts directly on alpha-1 agonist and indirectly it releases the noradrenaline. They cause vasoconstriction, and so that there will be increase in the peripheral vascular resistance and then increase in the BP. Like ephedrine, mifentermine also has cardiac stimulant effect. They are used parenterally to raise the BP in hypotensive states. Phenylephrine is also used topically as a mydriatic and as a nasal decongestant. Next, the nasal decongestants are nafazoline, oxymetazoline, xylometazoline, and pseudoephedrine. These are used in allergic rhinitis, common cold, and sinusitis. They cause vasoconstriction in nasal mucosa and relieve the congestion. On prolonged use, they cause rebound congestion. So they should not be used for long time. And pseudoephedrine and phenylephrine are the oral preparations. The side effects include hypertension and CNS stimulation. These should not be combined with the MAO inhibitors. And next, mixed acting drugs are ephedrine. It is an alpha and beta agonist. So let's see the pharmacological actions. It has actions on all the organs as it is a non-selective. It is a CNS stimulant and it causes nasal decongestion by alpha-1 receptor, and it dilates the bronchi through beta-2 receptors, and it acts as a mydriatics through alpha-1 receptor, and it causes urinary retention because it relaxes the detrusal muscle and closes the sphincter, and it also acts the cardiac stimulant through beta-1 receptor and vasoconstriction through alpha-1 receptor. The uses are, it is used to treat hypotension due to spinal anesthesia and the heart block, bronchial asthma. These are the uses. And the adverse effects include insomnia. Insomnia is a sleeplessness because of it is a CNS stimulant. It causes sleeplessness and hypertension and difficulty in the urination. These are the side effects. And next, dopamine. It is a D1 and D2 are the dopaminergic receptors and alpha beta 1 receptor agonist. At low dose, it increases the GFR rate through D1 receptors, and at moderate dose, it increases the heart contractility and cardiac output, but there is no tachycardia. And at high doses, it causes vasoconstriction and increases the blood pressure. It has no central effects because it doesn't penetrate the blood-brain barrier. And the therapeutic uses include, it is used for cardiogenic or septic shock and chronic heart failure. The adverse effects include nausea, vomiting, headache, hypertension, tachycardia, cardiac arrhythmias. And during infusion, BP, urine output, heart rate should be monitored. Anorectics. These are the agents which reduce appetite, resulting in the lower food consumptions. So, amphetamine like drugs promote weight loss by acting on hypothalamic feeding center. So, the drugs under the anorectics are mazindole, phentermine, and sibutramine. Mazindole and phentermine inhibit the reuptake of noradrenaline. So, it enhances noradrenergic transmission in the brain and causes inhibition of hypothalamic feeding center so that there is a suppress of appetite. And here sibutramine inhibits the noradrenaline and 5-HT reuptake so that it suppresses the appetite and enhances the satiety, that means of fullness. The main adverse effects of these agents are addiction liability, rise in the blood pressure, palpitation, sleep disturbances, depression, and dry mouth. This is about the adrenergic system and agonist. Thank you for watching.